Hello, guys. Just a brief live stream. I seen an article, and apparently, the fourth Star Trek movie in the Kelvin timeline. Chris Pine's not doing it. He had a guarantee. The contract also promised him to get paid X amount of dollars, which they're not willing to pay him. So, because they're not going to honor their end, he can opt out. I can understand both. The last movie did not make a lot of money and was horrible. So, yeah, they're being more conservative with their funds. Makes sense. Chris Hemsworth was supposed to return as Kirk's father, and the story was going to have time travel, and Hemsworth doesn't like what they're offering to pay him, so he bailed too. Chris Hemsworth, I understand your point of view too, but you got to look at it this way too. Your movies outside of the Marvel ones haven't been too successful. And that's not Chris Hemsworth's fault anymore. It's the superheroes that are the movie stars, not the actors behind him. And it might be worth taking a little bit of a pay cut to branch out more and get more work. But again, I understand both sides. I'm not here to take sides on whether they should take the pay cut or whether Paramount should pay them what they want. I'm here to discuss whether or not the Kelvin timeline should end. It started clunky but pretty good. I liked the first movie in the Kelvin timeline. It was a thrill to see Star Trek back, Leonard Nimoy back as Spock. Then we got Into Darkness, which I didn't mind initially. I thought it was a fun but lazy retread of The Wrath of Khan. I even thought they did a great choice for the actor playing Khan, but the actor was just not given the best material. They made Khan a little too sympathetic. And I liked it less as time went by. And then came Star Trek Beyond Awful. Okay, where to begin with this movie? The Enterprise arrives at a destination, suffers an attack from an advanced enemy weapon that causes catastrophic damage. And at the end of the movie, the Enterprise is either replaced or completely restored. That description fits all three of the Kelvin movies, and at this point I was just so numbed to the Enterprise taking that kind of damage. I'm just like, no, what are you? It's the Enterprise. Why even? No, don't destroy it. They're just going to rebuild it before the end credits roll. And just the fact that they've done this similar thing three times, this emotional, what should be an emotional moment of seeing the Enterprise destroyed, and it always was in the past when they did it, became, oh, y'all, no, don't stop. It's the Enterprise. You're just gonna force them to rebuild it. And I just didn't care as much. And then the stuff on the planet was not interesting at all. They promised a complex villain who had a legitimate axe to grind with the Federation. He fought in the Romulan War and couldn't stop being a soldier. I didn't feel sympathetic towards him. I didn't see where he had a legitimate gripe against the Federation. It just was done as the laziest thing possible, and this movie went from, for me, just hovering over bad to I hate this movie and the writer should get electroshock. there were these enemy fighter ships in, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. They attack like a swarm of bees, and they defeated the enemy fleet with rock music by blasting the Beastie Boys. They defeated the enemy fleet. It was so stupid. And just don't get me started on that, please. And then they have this prolonged scene on the planet that the enemy was going towards. The crew had to restore power to a Star Trek Enterprise style ship, and it was just mindless action, including a scene that belonged in a Looney Tunes skit more than it did in a Star Trek movie, because the ship Kirk and them restored comes out of nowhere and lands on Idris Elba's ship. Like, after that scene, the Looney Tunes music should have played and the movie should have ended. But I get to get to my point, I could spend hours talking about how bad Star Trek Beyond Awful is. To me, it's every bit as bad as The Last Jedi. Anyway, should they end the Kelvin verse? Kelvin Timeline, I mean, in my opinion, yes, because it's been, what potential greatness it's had has been bogged down by lazy writing and redoing the same thing over and over again. And if Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth aren't going to sign on, I don't want to see another Captain Kirk take up the role. I just don't think that will work. And, just end it. Come back to Star Trek in a few years and give the Star Trek the fans want to see. Stop making it more like Star Wars. Make Star Trek again. So, that's my opinions on the Kelvin verse and how I think it should end. What are your thoughts? The stream's ending, so you can comment like you would a regular video, so don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Over and out.